Okay, we're covering passage 4 of the Digital Enhanced ACT. And this test, remember, the science test is optional. We're going to turn on two tools, the answer eliminator and the highlighter tool. I think those are very useful. And we know this is a research passage because it has experiment 1 and experiment 2. In our DRC approach, R stands for research and reads, you're going to read not super carefully, just enough to know what's going on. So they're hypothesizing that heating tomatoes affects concentration of nutrients. Looks like we have vitamin C and lycopene. It looks like they're taking 4 samples, samples 1 to 4. Sample 1 was immediately frozen, so sample 1. Okay, and then samples 2, 4 were incubated at 88 degrees. So sample 1 is probably a control, and the others are heated. They're seeing if heating them is going to reduce vitamin C or lycopene. And then 3 days later, or 2 days later, they perform different steps, and you see vitamin C, and the experiment 1 was repeated, and they're looking for lycopene. That's it. It's a decent idea. Probably should take you 30 seconds to a minute just to have a overall view. So question number 1, which of the examples in experiment 1 was most likely a control? Oh, we already got that one. Because the control, the bag was sealed and immediately frozen at 40 degrees in sample 1. Little hint also, sample 1 is almost always the control. All right, it's the first one they pull out, so A. Number 2, based on the results of experiment 2, so we're going to go down to experiment 2. I'm going to highlight it so I'm in the right place. Which of the following incubation times would most likely have produced a tomato mixture with a lycopene concentration between 5 and 6 milligrams? We see the milligrams between 5 and 6 has to be sample 3 or 4. So how many minutes? Well, we have to go back up to the original experiment. 3 and 4 is going to be either 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So it has to be at least 15. So your answer is D, 20 minutes. Number 20. The student claimed that heating tomatoes decreases the concentration of nutrients present. This claim is consistent with the results shown for vitamin C and lycopene if either. So that was the hypothesis, right? Heating tomatoes affects the concentration. It says affects. So he theorized, or the student, he or she, that it would decrease the concentration. So let's double check. All right, so the first experiment is they're analyzing vitamin C. And we can see that it does decrease, so it is consistent with vitamin C. So it's not lycopene only, and it's not neither vitamin C. Now let's go down to lycopene, and that looks like it increases. That's not correct, so it's going to be vitamin C only, or A. 21. Assume that in the experiments, the water bath contained pure water at standard atmospheric pressure. So 1 atmospheric pressure. So you're not changing the elevation, right? You're not boiling the liquid in Colorado. While the bags containing the samples were being incubated, was the water bath boiling? Okay, so this is a knowledge question. So it's in Celsius. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, and this one is at 88 degrees Celsius. Yes, the incubation temperature was less than the boiling point. So was the water likely boiling? It was definitely not. So we're going to eliminate the 2 no's. The incubation temperature was less than the boiling point. So that one would be correct. So the answer is C. 22, in experiment 1. So experiment 1 here. How many of the samples had a vitamin C concentration of less than 1? Okay, so we have less than 1 micromoles per gram. There we are. So less than 1. It looks like all of them. So 4, right? None of these bars reach above 0.75, so they're all less than 1. So D. And the last one, consider the following procedures performed in experiment 2 for sample 2. Okay, experiment 2 for sample 2. Okay, So the sample was frozen. No, the only one that was frozen first, because they repeated the experiment, remember, was the sample 1. So that one's not it. Okay, so we're really just got to look back at the procedures in the experiment 1. The sample was incubated in the bath. They were incubated, and then they were frozen. So incubated, then frozen. So 2 has to be the correct one first. They didn't do 1. Sample was frozen. We eliminated that already. 2, and then what do? They froze it secondly, so 2, then 1, so C. All right, that's the last question. Let's review our answers. 18 is A, 19 is D, 20 is A, 21 is C, 22 is D, and 23 is C. And I double checked these answers, so those are all correct. All right, y'all have a good day.